Good morning, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of our LinkedIn Live on Friday.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Where did January go? It's
It's been
yeah.
3 weeks already. For those of our viewers who attended last Saturday's Career Success Workshop, thank you very much for making it such a wonderful success. Full house, over 120 people. Everyone was very entertained and educated. So I guess they were
Entertained.
educated.
We really liked the questions. It was a very interactive group, which is kind of unusual,
Yeah.
given that most locals tend to be quite quiet.
Yeah, they were warm and
but
fuzzy,
they
and
were
I love
warm
them.
and-
Thanks for being wonderful, everybody.
They asked questions in the crowd. They didn't just wait to queue up
Yeah.
later to ask their questions. It was
And the
great.
food was nice too.
Food was
So
nice. Food was
for those of
very
you guys
nice.
who missed it, there's gonna be other ones in the future. I'm very sure of it. But if you are curious as to what the event looked like and everything, we'll be posting all our videos and photos on our Insta account very shortly. And also, it's been an amazing experience being able to share all our ideas with such a huge platform and crowd of people, isn't it?
Yeah, and so today's topic, I mean, we need to come back to reality.
Unfortunately.
That while we can try and plan as much as possible, things do happen. And
do
when
happen.
things happen, we need to be able to react in a manner that,
Yeah.
react well and
Yeah.
perhaps plan well and not fall so hard.
Correct.
Which is why we keep talking about agility. And it's one of our topics for today. We want to talk about
About retrenchments, exits, being fired, and all the horrible stuff that could happen to any one of us at any point in time.
We talked about it last week as well, but today it's going to be slightly different. There's this video that we watched and it was really interesting.
Yeah.
And
It's gone viral. It's been
we
floating
want
around.
we want to comment on it. Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but it's stirred a lot of controversy. And the controversial part about it is, was she right or was she wrong?
I don't think she was wrong,
I don't think she was right.
but I don't think she was right.
And I don't think she was wrong. So it's a matter of perspectives, and I think what's really important is that we sit down and we dissect the video. It's interesting from a certain viewpoint that it throws up a lot of questions.
Yeah, it does. And I think it bears discussing because we should at least learn something from it. Let's have some takeaways
Yeah,
from
besides being-
someone else's very, very traumatizing experience. It is very traumatizing.
Yeah.
When I first watched it, I was quite concerned.
It's one of those movies you watch, like in a cinema, right?
Yeah.
First you root for the hero, the heroine.
And then you
Then
realize that
she's
there's
not
a
a
twist at the end.
Yeah, she's not really a hero.
Yeah.
It's a
No, I mean that's why we're drawn
twist.
to such drama because it's very gray. There's no right and wrong, and more importantly, I think it's fraught with emotion. So if we can, it's not. We're never gonna have a productive conversation if you become emotional. So and it's easy for us on the outside to say, "Hey, she was emotional," but we have to cut her a bit of slack.
Yeah.
Because it is highly traumatizing.
Was there a similar case in Singapore where someone filmed something like this? Sometimes it vaguely rings a bell, but I don't know whether it's.
I don't know. Whatever it is, I just want everyone to remember no matter what, when you're in public, you have a risk of being filmed, recorded, watched.
Yeah.
So don't do anything you wouldn't do.
Yeah,
Don't
don't record
anything-
in the flood. And so we're gonna delve into
No,
that.
just don't steal stuff because the cameras everywhere.
Yeah, or
don't pilfer. Don't take things.
don't bully some.
Don't bully some, like kick a cat.
kid or something. Yeah.
Don't kick a cat. Don't.
Yeah,
you
there are
know.
cameras everywhere, so you gotta be careful. But in this case, this lady, her name is Brittany Piest.
Well, I think she pronounces it peach.
Peach.
Yeah.
Okay, and she's an account executive in Cloudflare. Okay, and Cloudflare is an amazing company which has that annoys people. Okay, why annoy people? Because whenever you want to go to a website and then it says, hold on, Cloudflare loading, because it's on the screen, there's not a DDoS. And it's like, wait, 3 seconds, 4 seconds. Okay, you're clear, you're not a robot. So I find it annoying. But they're an amazing company. I know a lot of nice folks in Cloudflare. And they do keep the internet secure. And it's a very respectable organization.
It is.
So I was very surprised when I first saw that that an account executive at Cloudflare recorded her life experience, and it's like it sounded negative.
Yeah,
And
she recorded a conversation and then she posted it on social. So
so we're gonna do a video, first time ever video review. Okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna run through the video. The video is about 9 minutes, but we'll be talking for it about 2 hours. No, just kidding. We're gonna be talking about it during the duration of the show. And if you have any comments, okay, just jump into the comment section if you're on LinkedIn Live. Okay, just comment and what do you think about it, and we'll pick it up as well because I'm kind of sitting on the fence on this, but I'm leaning towards. At certain points, I'm leaning towards her. Certain points, I'm leaning away from her. And Yen and I had a very long discussion about this.
Yeah, and I'm tired of debating with him.
Yeah, I know.
So we decided
unkind words were said, tables were overturned, and
So we decided we will disagree on air because that way Adrian will be on his best behavior.
for change. Okay, so for change. So without further ado, let me flip over. Okay.
And you keep shaking the table.
Sorry.
Stop banging the table.
Yeah, I know. Okay, hang on. And for those, okay, I just realized we're missing one piece. We're missing the.
Stop wagging your finger at me.
We're missing the Cloudflare CEO response. Okay.
Right, we'll find it.
We'll find it. Why don't you entertain everyone for about half a minute?
I have to entertain everyone for half a minute.
Yeah, well, I'll load it now.
While Adrian has his concentrating face. Just a thought, have you ever looked at yourself on camera when you're concentrating and listening to someone speak? Sometimes we don't look so good. And Adrian sometimes has a funny look on his face when he's trying to work. But it is loading. And
It's loading.
did Cloudflare block the thing as it's loading?
No, it's a CEO story. Cannot. But, okay, never mind. Anyway, okay. Without further ado, okay, I'm gonna flip over to the video and let everyone watch and see what it is. Okay, for those of us watching this on or listening to this on Spotify, if you turn on to the Spotify video mode, you can actually watch the video clip itself. Okay, so I'm just gonna run through with this and we're gonna have a look at this. So we're gonna run.
Okay, just play already.
Yeah, I gotta play. Okay.
Hey, Brittany.
Hi.
Yes, I'm so sorry. My name's Rosie. I'm just joining the call. Nice to meet you. I'm on the HR team.
Hi, Brittany.
Pause.
Hi.
Shall we pause here?
Pause. Okay.
Just to give our listeners and viewers a bit of context, so the organization has been notifying other people within the organization randomly throughout the day. Brittany got wind of it from a colleague, and so she knew
But-
that there was going to be a conversation. And so because hers was scheduled, she turned on her recording and she wanted, I guess, proof.
Yeah.
Digital proof of the conversation taking place.
Yeah.
And so she turned it on, and that's what, there was some.
That's the context to it.
Context.
But I don't know whether or not, because she said that other people have been let go on the day, in the preceding week itself. And
Right.
I don't know whether they were being let go for performance or because it was an overall retrenchment exercise. They didn't say that.
Whatever it was,
So she
I
was
think
on her
the
guard.
purpose is unclear. And her face is ready for battle.
Yeah.
She looks unhappy.
Yeah.
When the lady chimed in, she went, "Hello, Brittany," and she went, "Hi."
Yeah, it's very
There's
defensive, but which is fine.
there's a
Which is fine.
tone.
Yeah. Okay.
So I understand that the woman's voice on the other side of the call is HR. I don't know who the man is. Shall we listen?
Thanks for meeting with me and Rosie. We have an important meeting today. We finished our evaluations of 2023 performance. This is where you have not met Cloudflare expectations for performance. We've decided to part ways with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop you right there.
Sure.
So I started August 25th. I've been on a 3-month ramp, and then it was 3 weeks of December, and then a week of Christmas, and then here we are. I have had the highest activity amongst my team. Since I've started, I have had 3 contracts out, done a really great job managing my deals up until the very end that decided not to close last minute. So I don't think that makes a lot of sense for me in my Cloudflare journey here so far. Also, every single one-on-one I've had with my manager, every conversation I've had with him, he has been giving me nothing but I am doing a great job. I have had great activity. I have really great meetings. I'm picking up the products very quickly, and things have been going really, really well. I make really great relationships with my clients. So I disagree that my performance hasn't been I haven't met performance expectations when I certainly have, just because I haven't closed anything officially.
Okay,
Let's
what are
pause
your
here
thoughts?
So she has every right to ask for a reason, and she disagreed with their reason. So again, let me just make sure I heard everything correctly. When she joined, there was a 3-month ramp up. So that 3 month,
What's a ramp up?
is it counted? Is it not counted?
What's
It
a
is-
ramp up?
It is that learning curve that you have to go through, understanding the internal systems, understanding the workflows, understanding how to produce a proposal, a contract.
So it's like a honeymoon period,
It's not
training,
Never.
learning.
It's never honeymoon. I don't like it when people say, "Oh yeah, I've got a honeymoon period," but getting to know everything. It's not honeymoon. It is quickly learning the ropes and figuring out who's who internally, learning who your customers are as well, and then understanding your product scope.
Yeah.
So 3 month ramp up, and then there was effectively in her mind 3 weeks of actual work. And then there was 1 week of Christmas. Nothing
3 months,
happens
3
in
months
December.
of actual work, not 3 weeks.
No, listen. She had 3 month ramp up.
Yeah.
So 3 weeks of actual work.
Oh, so to her, the
subsequent.
real work started only in December.
Correct.
And then there were the
Correct.
holidays.
Correct. Because sometimes your
Okay.
orientation periods can drag on, but in between you'll have pockets
okay.
of time to kind of
Okay.
get your handle on everything. So in her mind, 3 weeks of actual work, but 1 week in December, which is the Christmas week, nothing happens.
Okay.
And then she went on to say, and now we're here, which is January, if I'm not wrong, first or second week.
Yeah.
So I think she has a cause to disagree with their statement, because their statement was, you did not meet performance.
Yeah. One thing I liked about what she's done, okay. Number one, I don't agree with videotaping yourself, video recording yourself, okay.
Okay,
That's
a
another.
big
But
one.
one thing I like what she's done here, and if you are being cornered by HR or being cornered by your bosses saying you're not performed or whatever it is, notice how prepared she was.
That's because she had a heads up.
Yeah, she had a heads up. So
had
she
a
was
heads up.
prepared. How well her case was defended, I cannot say for sure because I was not overly impressed. Because ultimately she didn't sell and she didn't close anything. So like what Mark Cuban says, sales cures all. If you're selling, no one's going to tell you you're not doing your job, right? So, but she did defend herself and she was quite prepared for it. So kudos to her.
Yeah. And I guess the other really big issue here is this. To everyone else who's listening right now, if you've just landed a new job, be prepared to run like crazy, because there is no such thing as ramp up time in the real world.
Yeah.
We almost expect you to perform miracles within the first month.
yeah.
I think, if anything, in my mind, ramping up is 1 month. And while you're still in training, I expect you to
Okay.
start working.
So I think some companies call it as orientation. So you ramp up such orientation 1 month. After that, you have to start pulling in especially if you're expensive.
Yeah, and so I don't know what's her seniority, because all women look very young online. It's just that the more senior you are, the more miracles you're expected to perform.
Yeah.
If you're very expensive, I hire you. I've waited for you to come on board. I need you productive today. So as unreasonable as it sounds, I think a lot of us need to have this idea on how we can manage expectations better, because her expectations is 3 months of ramp up, and Cloudflare is probably thinking 3 months of nothing.
Oh, no money, no sales figures coming.
In fact, it's costs.
Yeah.
It's costs that's going out the door, because so even though her activity was up, activity doesn't count for anything. It's unfortunate.
And it gets even more interesting here. Okay, I'm going to continue.
I hear you.
Also,
Thank you.
why are you doing this and not my manager? We've never met, so this seems a little odd that my manager has no idea that this has been happening and the director has no idea that this has been happening. So I'm just definitely confused, and I would love an explanation that makes sense.
Let's pause here.
100%.
See that as
Real quick, let me carve out the two threads. The latter of why I'm on this conversation, I'll put that one to the second half, and Rosie might be better to explain the process of who's giving this information in the prior piece, which is your feedback and notes about your performance. So let me add a little color context to that. So just for clarification, you are not being singled out on this. Your peers are also being collectively assessed on performance. This is a collective calibration for Cloudflare. So I just want to clarify that piece. I won't be able to add any kind of specifics on numbers or.
Wait, yeah, no. Can you explain for me why Brittany Peach is getting let go?
We should pause here.
Yeah. So she brought up a very interesting piece of information. Why isn't my boss roped in on this?
Exactly. And so the whole
Two HR, and
process.
she's never met these two HR before. It's just very cold and soulless.
Do you think he's HR or do you think he's legal?
I have no
Or do
idea.
you think
But they
he's
both sound
outsourced?
HR. No, they both sound HR.
Do you think he's one of those outsourced exiting companies?
No, I don't.
You know, there are some organizations that have an expert come in, like that
The
movie,
George
that
Clooney,
George Clooney movie,
Up in the Air movie.
where they
You
go
never know.
around
You never know.
retrenching people.
You
So
never know.
maybe they outsourced it to these two individuals. And she's very rightly pointing
She
out,
brought up a
I've
good point.
never met you before. How is it that my boss doesn't know about this?
And what's interesting also, she said that that my bosses have been quite happy with my performance.
Right. Do you think it's because they're just not in the know?
Or maybe the bosses just being nice, because the bosses, there have been cases before where the bosses don't have the guts to fire or
Right.
to get HR to do it.
Yes, yes.
And in the meantime, they're just gonna butter you up. Say, oh, you're good.
But there are lots of bosses that you and I know people just today, yesterday,
Yeah.
last week, who have had really good feedback and top-notch
Yeah.
scores
Yeah.
for performance review
Yeah.
and still get the pink slip.
Correct. So her point about where my bosses is also valid. So for
It's
those
a
of
very valid point.
HR listeners out there, if you're conducting an exit interview, whether or not it's
It's
due
an
to
exit
performance,
interview? No, it's an
no,
exit
exit notification. Sorry,
notification.
whether or not it's a retrenchment exercise or whether it's a
Termination.
Okay, I think it's important that you have to have your line manager present as well. Otherwise,
Yes.
it lacks that legitimacy. It lacks
Correct.
That,
It feels like an assassination, an ambush,
Yeah.
and I think that's what she's reacting to. You can see her emotion
Yeah.
is I mean, obviously no one's happy receiving this sort of calls,
Yeah.
but she feels very wronged because all this while you're saying I'm doing well, give me a chance to prove it,
Mm-hmm.
but before you give me a chance to bloom, you're telling me I'm not performing. But hang on, why is the mixed message
Yeah.
happening? It's very unfair, and I think again that is a very valid point for all employers out there. Please be very transparent in your communication. If the person is not quite cutting it, they should have some idea they're not quite cutting it. Don't wait and tell them they're fine.
Yeah.
Feels almost like how millennials would bring up their children now with everyone wins a prize,
Everyone gets
everyone's
an
doing
award,
well,
everyone gets a trophy.
and we kind of cushion everyone in nice positive messages, and so people don't know that they're not up to par.
So and the situation unravels even more. Okay, just listen to this.
I won't be able to go into specifics for numbers.
Wait, why though? I just started. I've been working extremely hard. Just because I haven't closed anything that has nothing to do with my performance on a 3-month ramp with just 1 month with two major holidays in the middle.
Look at you pause right there. Her idea of performance is not the same as theirs.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I like to talk about the man on the call. Do you feel like he's kind of not in control? He was whiffling and sort of wiffle waffle.
He wasn't
And then
prepared for resistance.
There was a couple of phrases that I felt were staged and scripted.
Yeah.
We all know that these communications, we all know exit notifications have to be scripted.
Yeah.
And you can hear the words he was selecting. He said collective calibration. I'm like, what? And
No one talks like
and then
that.
he goes on to say something about it's a performance thing. And that's where she gets all prickly about it, because to her, she has been doing the things they ask. And the thing is, in sales, you can never ever commit that the deal is in.
Yeah.
Sales is very uncertain. You have to just keep doing the activity, and sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't.
It doesn't,
You have to play the long game. So she's feeling very, very wronged because the man is communicating that it's performance related, a collective calibration of non-performers who are being exited at the same time.
Yeah. And it's tough.
But I feel like he's very,
He was not prepared.
he was very,
not prepared.
he's very weak in his
Yeah, he was
communication.
not prepared. So and once again, just carry on.
I don't think that has anything to do with why I should be let go, if that makes sense. So I really need an answer and an explanation as to why Brittany Peach is getting let go, not why Cloudflare decided to hire too many people and are now actually realizing that they can't afford this many people and they're letting that go. If that's the real answer, I would rather just you tell me that instead of making up some bullshit and telling me that right before I lose my job from someone that I've never met before. If you can respect that.
Yeah, I can totally respect that. And I don't think Dom or myself today is going to give you any clarity or answers that's going to meet the expectations that you're communicating to us, Brittany. So I can't speak to.
So am I getting let go for no reason? If you guys can't give me a reason?
I'm happy to follow up with you separately to give you the data that was calibrated. I'll need to speak with revenue leadership specifically to see if we can get that for you. But Dom,
can you share that with me now?
In our meeting, I cannot share that with you right now, unfortunately. Yeah, it's understandable how you feel and your frustration. Cannot stress that enough.
I have been working extremely hard. I just knew that this meeting was coming after knowing what's been happening with my peers and how extremely frustrated and upset everyone is. I know you guys must not be able to understand that given in the positions that you are in, and it must be very easy for you to just have these little 10-minute, 15-minute meetings, tell someone that they're fired, completely wreck their whole life, and then that's it with no explanation. That's extremely traumatizing for people, if you can imagine that. And I don't think that this is, it's just very, very shocking. Very, very shocking. I have really given my whole energy and life over the last 4 months to this job. And to be let go for no reason is a huge slap in the face from a company that I really wanted to believe in.
So she's just being really emotional at this point.
Yeah.
And the term that I learned from my children is salty.
Yeah,
but it's, you can tell.
I mean, it is emotional. It is traumatizing.
The emotion comes from a place.
If I was in her shoes, I'll be pissed off as well.
She feels wronged.
Yeah.
She feels so wronged.
Because in her mind, if you listen earlier, she said that this feels like a disguised retrenchment exercise.
Yeah, it could be, and
because you want to you overhired, you want to let people go, and you're just blaming me for my performance, just to let me go. Just say it. I'll be happy. I'll be happy if you did that. So that was her point of view.
And I completely agree with her.
And up to this point in time, I actually agree with her. It seems like it was, but later on there's a plot twist. The CEO did write a message out.
Wait. Okay, we'll definitely come back to that. So based on her feedback to the institution, my point is that I think the institution's not prepared enough. They didn't prepare their exit notification at all.
I wouldn't say institution. I think it's HR. I'm going to throw HR to the wolves here.
I feel like HR is always wronged for a decision that comes from upstairs.
No, it was not prepared. It doesn't
but
matter.
Maybe upstairs just told them to just do something,
then
and
they
then
have
they
to
just
be prepared.
they just rush through it.
What do you guys think? You can comment in the box below. I do think HR's to blame here.
It's not fair to always blame HR. Stop wagging your finger at me.
I have a nagging feeling. Sorry, I have a nagging feeling. Okay, that this is some other department's HR. It's not even her HR.
I think it's a higher up or a more regional.
That's why it feels
HR
like an
member.
assassination. That's why it feels like a hired hit.
Yeah. When we had a recent news on a major e-commerce company that retrenched people very badly, and they were getting a lot of flack. And everyone I was talking to was saying, yeah, HR is fault, HR fault. And I don't believe that. It's not fair to keep blaming HR for everything just because they're the catch-all and they're the easy scapegoats. It's not fair. I think someone upstairs probably told these two individuals that they had to do it, and they didn't give them enough runway.
Yeah.
And so as
and
an
they
organization...
were probably given a list of 18 names to go through the day.
And I think the organization did not give them the support they needed to conduct an exit notification well. And so I really feel sorry for the two individuals who had to notify Brittany, because Brittany was so hurt and traumatized.
Yeah.
I know, I'm defending HR. I don't care. I don't care what you say, Adrian.
HR could be, okay. It may not be HR's fault, but these two HR individuals were not prepared. Yeah. And I think it's not fair to the person you are terminating due to alleged performance. And if you're not giving evidence...
Yeah. There's no evidence. That's the thing.
Evidence. That's the problem, you see.
If I think, what was it? You should always just say it's a business decision and it's not personal and it's not performance. then that's a proper retrenchment
Yeah.
/ redundancy
In this case, it's not
right
retrenchment.
sizing.
It's not very retrenchment. This is a
Termination.
termination, which means technically speaking, they don't even need to give her a retrenchment benefit. Only 4 months what retrenchment benefit, right?
I don't know what the law
yeah.
is in
in the US, we don't know. But
Yeah.
so well, HR lesson case in point. HR, be very prepared. Okay,
Be very prepared and don't. Yeah.
Come talk to us.
Yeah.
We wrote a book on retrenchment practices. Okay, the best case retrenchment practices.
Understand how you feel that way, why you feel that way. And I'll be honest with you, there's nothing that we're going to say in this call in the time that we have that's going to undo the way that you feel right in this moment. And I personally will do everything that I can to give you as much specific information as I can after this call. I can't make any promises. I understand where you're coming from. I can tell you that Dom and I do care. I understand the feeling that you have right now. And I can't change that. So I'll just be honest.
Let me just pause here. I just want to make a comment on the language.
Yeah.
How many words they use instead of just getting to the point, they just like go around in circles. I don't know.
waffling.
There's so many big words being thrown at me. I'm listening and I'm like, what the heck? Just get to the point.
I care for you.
And
I
that's
understand how you're feeling.
rubbish. It's so patronizing.
Yeah.
And originally, when she said, I can't share this with you, I was going, okay, good. I don't have the information. We can take it offline. We can talk again separately. Great. And then she went on about, and then she started patronizing, even though at first I thought, great empathy. And then as she continued talking, I was going,
Yeah, fluff.
not just fluff, it's just patronizing.
Yeah,
so
just
condescending.
It's condescending.
So fake.
It's
I hate. I know. The
Sounds fake, sounds
corporate hypocrisy is right up there in my pet peeve.
Yeah.
But why can't, so, but there, you guys have still not given me a reason why I'm being let go.
Silence.
Do you feel that they've given her enough reason why she's being let go?
They had to do the corporate approved messaging, which was collective. It was a collective
Decision?
No,
Collaboration? is it?
collective something. See, I lost. I was just listening to the guy who was just waffling on.
Yeah.
He said it was a decision, and there were a few individuals who were impacted together. Did they give her sufficient reason? They told her she did not meet performance
Yeah, but she did not.
targets.
Yeah.
And so she didn't. She refuted it. So she did not get an actual reason.
Yeah. I find that you didn't hit targets is a reason in itself. If it was communicated earlier to her that you had to hit targets. So so it was maybe it was a performance management issue
Maybe
from the line manager or HR.
I think it's just a matter of
But in an emotional
state.
storm like this,
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter, does it?
I think it's miscommunication all around. So everyone else
And
is
it's
not
being
quite
recorded
aligned.
and viralized like this, right? It's
I
terrible.
also suspect that her own team lead may not be part of that decision and is also probably quite shocked.
Yeah.
So her own leader probably didn't know because that's what's
we
happening.
don't know. No, we don't know. But let's play. Let's see. Okay.
Despite constant positive praise from my manager, great meetings that I'm having, the amount of activity that I have has all been positive. I have not received any negative inclination. I have not been put on a performance improvement plan, nothing. So,
And I cannot speak to what your manager has communicated to you directly.
But that
You
should
are
be the
let go
indication
for,
of-
for performance based on your attainment and leading indicators of data. That is the rationale.
but I've been here for only a month after ramping, and that was during a holiday. So I don't understand can you explain what those performance metrics are? Or is that just like a vague term to give to everyone that you're speaking to today?
I'll say that the performance indicators and performance metrics are, we're not able to go into specifics, and there's no situation where we will be able to go into
Do you guys
specifics.
even know like why, like who you're talking to each day? Like every single 10, 15 minutes, do you guys even know who you're talking to? Like why you're letting these people go when you don't even understand like the kind of work and everything that they've put in?
I hear you and what you're saying.
It just doesn't make any sense that you guys have still not been able to give me a reason why I'm being let go.
just from a process perspective, your questions are valid. This isn't going to be the forum and the situation where we're able to go into the detail that you're looking for.
But then when? If it's not right as I'm getting fired, then it's certainly not going to be after when I'm no longer part of the company.
Yeah. So I don't think there's anything we can say in this moment or today, Brittany, that's going to change the way that you feel. And it's understandable. I'm taking notes and feedback, and we'll circle back.
Yeah, I know you did that for Nestle too, but that's
the meeting. It's not going to change the outcome of the situation today. So it may be best if I do get into more of the specifics of what the next steps are, because I think it's clear that you have questions that we cannot give answers to. And if you'd be open to it, I'd love to move into what the next steps are so that you're not any further blindsided than you already feel.
okay.
That was very barbed. Very
Yeah,
barbed.
but she brought up an interesting point. No? If you're not going to tell me the rationale and the data
So-
now, and you want to tell me after, I've already been fired already. Tell me so it
this
doesn't
is the
matter
difference.
anymore.
The two HR are like the infantry soldiers that you send to battle to get killed. It's so unfair to them. I feel so strongly that those of you who are listening who have desires to go into HR or are already in HR, your job is very hard. And sometimes these things happen because, you know, we've all have jobs where we are pushed into the front lines and asked to do something where they're completely going like, what? And that's exactly what's happening to these two individuals. I think they're doing the best that they can. But in the face of this tsunami of emotion that's coming from Brittany, they look completely incompetent. And I think that's unfair to them as well. But I don't expect any empathy on Brittany's part, but she's the aggrieved party, isn't it? But the lady on the other end of the call is coming across extremely robotic. And even though she says, I understand how you feel, she actually effectively saying nothing that we're going to talk about today will change how you feel. Let's get on with it. That's exactly what she said. Holy crap. Holy,
Yeah.
It's a horrible thing to say.
It's and I think that's where that's where she could have done it better. So
Yeah.
But to be fair, I know if you ask me, if I had to conduct an exit notification, if it was due to performance, I'll be more comfortable doing one due to poor performance, rather than one due to retrenchment. At least there was a kind of justification, but I would have come prepared. And
With numbers.
And if you are any HR folks out there who are watching, if you want to learn how to conduct an exit interview, exit notification, we actually written the book. Yen and I have written a book on compassionate retrenchment practices.
And the only reason, and in case you don't know our backgrounds, I've worked in career transition for a good 15 years. How long were you in career transition?
I was in 3 years in career transition before we started the company 5 years ago.
So we've been in the business of working with individuals who were impacted, and Adrian's been in the business of working with employers conducting
Retrenchment exercises,
those exercises, and collectively in career agility, we've worked with quite a number of our B2B clients to ensure that the process is as smooth and as compassionate, that allows dignity to all the impacted employees. And I think that's really important.
So if you want a copy of this, just message us. We have soft copies available. We're giving it for free because it's a public service. Okay.
We wrote this in 2019.
2019, right before COVID, which was quite
2019, it was
popular.
a long time
Thank
ago.
you,
So
John.
anyway, let's just wrap up and see.
Okay, and I'm really sorry that you're having this experience and feeling this way. One of the things that we want to confirm is your personal email address, because that's where all.
You see,
She paused it right there before
I
all
don't
the
like.
juicy things.
I don't like. This is what I call. This is what I call a non-apology. When I apologize for you feeling that way, I'm not apologizing for doing it. But no, she has nothing to apologize for, because it's not really. It's just she's doing her job.
She's doing her job.
She's doing her job.
So it's a non-apology. It's a sorry, not sorry. But I'm sorry you feel that way is not an apology.
Which is, but
again,
it's
she's
not really her fault.
It's not her fault. And so one of the things we wanted to highlight is never say I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Never. Just continue with I understand how you feel. We have to do this.
Okay. So what are some of the things that HR? Okay, what's one of the things that what could HR have done better?
There are so many things. They could have been better prepared because they should know
Better
that.
prepared.
Please remember that the moment the first person is impacted, other people are going to find out that the tsunami
And they're
has
going to
started.
get prickly, and you're going to be very, very well prepared.
Extremely well prepared. I mean, we can't. It's such a fluffy statement to say be prepared.
There's a lot of
There's a
homework,
lot
training,
more.
communications training, and everything. I think that in Britney's case, I think what the company should have done better was in terms of giving a PIP. Okay, if you have a situation where a non-performance is there, okay, especially in Singapore, you have to get rid of your PIP so that you can justify. What else do you think HR? The company could have done
I
better?
think there was a massive miscommunication from the get go, with what their expectations were versus what Britney's were. So she's thinking she's done a great job with her activity,
Yeah.
meaning that she has this understanding that the ramp up period is not counted. But I think the organization feels differently, and that was not communicated to her. So
So
I think this started way before.
I think so too.
The video itself was doomed to fail the moment two strangers had to notify someone. They're complete strangers.
no.
Complete strangers to her.
It's
I don't think
so
that's-
therefore it feels like a cold
Very cold
assassination,
assassination.
a cold thrust of a cold blade in your back. See, so I don't blame Britney for feeling the way she feels, but welcome to the corporate world.
Yes.
That's why it is. No,
It is.
Lessons to be learned from Britney. Number one, nothing's guaranteed. Okay,
Yep.
that's the way it is. The corporate world's like this, and you can't help it. The second thing is, we were mentioning do not post videos, do not record. But somebody said that, just wanted to comment that I do not see anything wrong with recording the conversation to be used as a defense later.
Yeah.
I disagree that she posted on social media. I
That's right.
agree.
Exactly.
You can record it.
You can record it for your own reference and
Yeah.
perhaps to share with your lawyers if you want to dispute, wrongful termination.
Yeah.
It becomes evidence that you can take to the Ministry of Manpower or other agencies
Oh,
or your
yeah.
union.
Yeah.
But no, you should never post
Post it,
on socials. Never, regardless. Ever, ever. The moment you put it online, it's forever.
And you know what? As a hiring manager,
I will not touch her.
I will not touch her. She's scary. She's toxic. So I would have
Yeah.
written her off, because anything like this,
Yeah.
what the next time she underperforms, and if I could let her go, I'm going to be dragged through the
I'm
mud
going to be
again.
recorded and I am.
I will be recording my exit with her. If I got to exit notify her, I'm going to record it, and I'm going to come with
no.
reams of.
That's the other thing that we want to take note of. I think effective notification should be done in person.
But sometimes you
face-to-face,
can't.
where possible.
Sometimes you can't.
If you can do it face to face, and if I'm afraid of a character assassination or someone recording,
I've seen people smuggling.
well,
phones
well,
on
we
recording
can
work
do the
before.
whole pat down and
No,
then
like
we
you
go into
can't
the
do
conference
that.
room.
No, but to be fair, part of our retrenchment training, notification training, is that they have the right to record it. So
They
you
do.
can't tell them not to. So you can't pat them down. You can't freeze them. You can't.
They do. They have the right to record the conversation.
Yeah, so it's okay.
But it's always best to be transparent about it.
And I think what you said earlier is correct. Always assume they're recording. So whatever you say can and will be taken against you in the court of public opinion.
Yes.
Not even in a court of law.
Always
because there's no
assume.
law. But it's
You're constantly being watched.
yeah. So I agree with this LinkedIn user who wrote in. It's no harm recording it, but posting it,
Posting it
not,
is a no-no.
not the wisest thing
Yeah.
to do.
Are there other comments?
There's no comment here. So Pilar says, I suppose it's largely about increasing visibility regarding unfair waves of tech layoffs causing widespread suffering globally. Okay, the video tends to be more impactful than a LinkedIn post when it comes to sharing a story.
No doubt.
True. Yeah. So it is true. I mean, and it's very emotional. So it hits a lot of people in the right places and in the wrong places as well.
But we're trying to say we understand why she posted it on her socials. But I think she didn't think of it in the long run and how it might impact her
Yeah.
personally. Who knows? But there might be people who appreciate that she's done a national service for everyone.
Yeah.
To kind of put a context.
Yeah.
And to have everyone experience it the way she did.
Yeah.
But she rightly stopped the video at the point when they were sharing the details and the structure of her exit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's so the takeaway is this. I would say, you're paid to perform.
Yeah.
And I think it's important for you to get an understanding of what is expected of you.
So based on your earlier question, like what are the things that HR could have done better? Oh, let's not put HR on the line. What are the things that the company could
Company
have done better? I think her manager should have been involved. If not her direct manager, her manager's manager.
Yeah.
Someone who can speak to her work. So don't go hiding behind HR. That's just weak on the manager's part.
Yeah.
So if the CEO himself conducted the exit, I'm sure the communication would have been readily accepted. But no, he put two helpless HR folks there to do the dirty deed, and they weren't very well prepared. So I think management needs to step up. It shouldn't be a, hey, HR, go do my
But what was
assassinations for
interesting
me.
is that when I was watching this, I felt very upset because it did feel like because HR was unable to provide proof that it was a performance issue, it really felt like
Ambush.
an ambush for a disguised retrenchment.
Yeah.
Okay, but this video went viral, and the CEO had to step up. And this
Let's
is
pause for a minute. Can we tell our listeners what a disguised retrenchment is and why that's a problem?
okay. So disguised retrenchment is when a company doesn't want to pay retrenchment benefits. Okay,
Or severance.
or
Yeah.
severance or anything else, and you
Yeah.
just say that poor performance, you're out, you're being fired. And they disguise it as a retrenchment. So that's what we call a disguised retrenchment.
So that they kind of minimize
Yeah.
costs
Yeah.
because it's a termination for performance, and they don't have to make things look pretty.
Yeah.
And so I think there are individuals out there who are probably asking, what's the difference between a retrenchment, a redundancy, a layoff, or a termination? There are many ways that people will. I don't know the different labels. I think the biggest thing to note is there going to be a cost associated with the exit?
Yeah.
And so we're not big fans of disguised retrenchments.
No. In fact, they should be illegal.
If there is cause for termination, there should be cause. There should be
just
proof.
fess up and man up and
Yes.
say yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So let
Look
me.
at the
So the
CEO's
CEO
response.
responded. Okay, and let's just do
Read
a
it
big
out.
screen on the CEO's response. Okay. Okay.
Let's read it
The
out.
CEO Matthew Prince. Okay. Yen, do your CEO impression voice.
This is a man. You should use your voice. I'll challenge you to good reading.
We
Let's
fired.
go.
Okay, the CEO responded. Okay, and I'm going to read it to you. We fired around 40 salespeople out of 1,500 in our go-to-market organization. That's a normal quarter. When we are doing performance management right, we can often tell within 3 months or less of a sales hire, even during the holidays, whether they're going to be a success or not. Sadly, we don't hire perfectly. We try to fire perfectly. In this case, clearly, we were far from perfect. The video is painful for me to watch. Managers should always be involved. HR should be involved, but it shouldn't be outsourced to them. No employee should ever be surprised they weren't performing. We don't always get it right. And sometimes underperforming employees don't actually listen to the feedback they've been gotten before we let them go. Okay. And importantly, just because we fire someone doesn't mean they're a bad employee. It doesn't mean won't be really, really great somewhere else. Chris Paul was a bad fit for the Suns, but he undoubtedly was a great basketball player. In fact, we think the right thing to do is get people we know who are unlikely to succeed off the team as quickly as possible so they can find the right place for them. We definitely weren't anywhere close to perfect in this case, but any healthy organization needs to get people who aren't performing off.
Wow.
This wasn't the mistake here. The mistake was not being more kind and humane as we did. And that's something we all focus on improving going forward. So that's the CEO thing. So the CEO just basically said,
very mature.
very mature, he fessed up where he went wrong. And where he
Yes.
went wrong was basically that it was not executed correctly.
And the hint here is that it was performance, and they did give her feedback. She didn't hear it. So I do a lot of coaching in the space where I help individuals learn to give feedback. Giving feedback is not as easy as it sounds. And there's this common strategy where you sort of sandwich the negative in between two positives.
And sometimes they only hear the positives.
That's exactly
Right?
what, so I start with the positive. I go like, hey, Adrian, you're doing really well. I just want to highlight that this other thing could be better. And you kind of minimize that feedback, and then we go on and sandwich it with something positive, like, but keep up the good work. Of course, you're only going to hear the good things.
Hear the good
so
stuff on there,
if you go online and you had this wisdom online that says effective feedback is where you sandwich a negative between two positives. No, don't cushion the feedback. Give it clear, give it straight, but do it kind and diplomatically.
Yeah.
But be straight about it. So
Yeah.
I think the CEO's message is that she is.
And I was very tickled when I was
She
reading
is.
that,
She's
but
not
especially
performing.
when he hinted that some people you give them negative feedback, but they don't
hear it.
Hear it.
Or maybe the person that was her manager didn't give effective feedback.
Yeah. So the CEO stepped up and he did clarify in a very compassionate, humane way, I would say.
Yeah,
Okay.
and very very clear about where they can.
And he
improve.
wasn't derogatory or
Not at all.
Towards her performance and
all.
everything. He just said
Yeah.
that you do well in another place, but not here.
And this is the thing about the corporate world, isn't it? I think a lot of leaders, we've interviewed quite a few, and we've heard from a lot that if you want to fail, you fail fast. If someone's not working out, let them go early. Don't drag out the relationship because it's not working out.
Yeah.
Because it will reach a conclusion that's probably going to be a lot uglier.
Yeah.
So fail fast and fire fast. I think your favorite Mark Cuban and gang
Yeah.
probably say the same thing.
Feel fast. If it doesn't work, then move on to the next
Yeah,
move on to the
move
next
on.
adventure.
But he's absolutely right in how they could have done this better
They
and more
could have done it better,
humanely.
yeah.
The messaging was awful. Having two strangers tell you, sorry, we've got no more, you're terminated.
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah.
just the worst thing.
Yeah.
Strangers.
No, but it's ultimately whether or not she should post it or not. There are two camps about it. And
Yes, of course.
everyone is entitled to their wrong opinion. No, just kidding. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And ours is just that if you take the bigger scheme look at the bigger scheme of things, posting something like this does not help your branding.
It does not help the individual. She might be doing a service
You
to
will help,
other people.
yeah, you'll help your branding among all the other social justice warriors. But in terms of getting a job, I can tell you that as a hiring manager or as headhunter, I would not touch her with a 10-foot barge pole.
I think she might. I don't know. Is there any industry or company that would, fit her?
can
I'm just
join.
wondering the fact that she's done this as a
Mm.
behavior, the fact that she's done this, and this is visible to us because
Mm-hmm.
she posted it, makes me wonder what sort of team player she is. And perhaps it's not so much the performance or her activity,
Mm-hmm.
as she rightly pointed out, her activity was high, but that maybe it was a cultural misfit.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna leave it as that because I have my very strong thoughts about employees like that. They are risky. Anyone who's willing
Very
to post stuff on social media at
Yeah.
work and stuff like that, what's the next thing going to happen?
I think a lot of
So it's
exit
scary.
notification contracts would have a non-denigrating clause.
But it doesn't matter anyway.
It
because
doesn't
we
work.
can't
right?
enforce it.
Do you
right?
think if you were the employer, would you sue her for putting this on?
No, you can't. And I think it's okay. So ultimately, the bigger question to all our listeners is this: should she have posted? Should she not? And the bigger question I want to ask you is this: if you are hiring someone, will you hire someone who's done this before? And I'm going to leave it there.
And maybe I can add to that question. What would you do if your employee posted something online?
Like that, right?
What would you do? I'm assuming you're not letting this employee go, but somebody posted
Yeah.
something. We've had several TikToks I've seen where someone accidentally took a call with something in the background, and that person was terminated because there was some confidential slides on the background when they were doing a TikTok.
Yeah. But those are yeah.
Again, social media is double-edged. Just be really careful
Yeah.
with what you do online.
So, in conclusion for today, okay, if you're tempted to get your 5 minutes of fame on TikTok for something like this, be careful because you just might get a global level of fame, of infamy that could hurt your
Yeah.
brand. But also, if you feel you are being unfairly terminated, okay, by all means, prepare a robust defense, okay, and stand your ground. So if you feel that it is, but ultimately, if you're not being appreciated in the organization,
Move
then
on.
maybe it's not the place you want to be. So just move on. There are other places who will love you. There are other places who will be where you will do better in. Okay, we've all been there. We've all gone through this
And the best revenge is to be happy
and successful.
and successful.
And then you can rub it in the other employer.
Exactly.
Right?
And one
Go
day they
join a
need you,
competitor.
you don't help them back.
Ha ha. We are such petty
Petty
people.
people. I was just thinking the same.
Such petty people. Okay, so ultimately, just be careful what you post. And for HR out there, as I said, no, if you want to have a copy of this, just let us know. We have soft copies available still. And if you want to be trained, just circle around to us. We'll be happy to talk to your HR teams about it.
info@careeragility.org.
Yeah. In the meantime,
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, and have a great weekend ahead. And remember, it's going to be cold and wet this weekend as well. Just stay dry, stay warm, and stay happy. Take care, everybody.